Hi there. In this video, I want to cover offer sources or networks and affiliate networks and using offers. So arguably one of the most common technical issues people run into in affiliate marketing is getting the tracking working between their tracker and their affiliate network. But once you understand how this works, generally it's like riding a bike and it's quite straightforward. So what I wanted to do is run through how offers and offer sources work in FunnelFlux and then take you through two practical examples of figuring out the tracking between FunnelFlux and an offer source. Even though we have templates for the ones that I use already, I wanted to give kind of a prescriptive guide to dealing with it. So if we go to Assets in FunnelFlux and then Offer Sources, you can see here if I click Create New, we have a number of templates. Taking some common example like Zadu, you can see here under Data Passing that what we've done is set some standard fields to use for passing data to this network. So this data passing is defining the URL parameters that are going to be used when redirecting to offers that use this source. So in FunnelFlux, one of the purposes of offer sources is to template the data passing. So let me show you what that works like in reality. Let's say I have Zadu, and let's call this Zadu test, and I save this. If I go through to offers and I create some new offer, let's call it just test data passing, and I put a base URL of google.com. This is the base URL for the offer, so it's not what we redirect to when we redirect to the offer in FunnelFlux, but it's the offer URL that is the starting point of us computing and calculating that redirect URL to do. If I go to configure data passing here, you can see this important resulting offer URL, which tells me what FunnelFlux would redirect to when you actually redirect to that offer in the funnel builder. But now if I go to general settings and I pick Zadu test as the offer source and I come back to data passing, you can see here it has inherited from offer source, var and YMID, and then the resulting offer URL now has this query string and var equals campaign, YMID equals hit. So the purpose of the offer source here is to make it so that you can use easy, simple base URLs for the offer, and then you can let the offer source configuration handle the standard passing of all the data that you want to pass to the network. Affiliate networks are using tracking platforms. They're not the same as FunnelFlux, but they're a tracking platform designed for affiliate management and offer management. So they do have standard URL parameters that they will use, and generally you will get by using the exact same data passing regime across all of your offers. Very rarely is there a reason to have a completely custom way of passing data to a specific offer from a network. So in this case, when I make an offer, I just need to put the URL as google.com or whatever my basic affiliate link is, and then by picking Zadu test or whatever my offer source is, FunnelFlux deals with putting those two puzzle pieces together to create the redirect URL that you send to. The additional thing is the conversion tracking for passing data back to FunnelFlux. So if I go back to Zadu and have a look at the data passing here I am passing our tracking ID, which is hit ID, under this parameter YMID. So if we go over to the affiliate network side, to send a conversion back to FunnelFlux, we need to tell FunnelFlux what the value of that YMID parameter is for that specific user who converted. So we're typically going to do that with what we call a token, but it's going to be a token on the Zadu side that their platform recognizes and their platform is able to process to pass back the value we gave them. So if I go to conversion tracking, you can see I actually already have these placeholders here. It's complete coincidence that these also use curly brackets like we do inside of FunnelFlux. And here, this shows the postback URL that I can go set in the Zadu network to pass information back. You can see I'm using curly brackets amount for the revenue, which I'm passing here. And transaction ID is optional. I don't actually have anything set here. It's completely up to you whether you fill this out. But YMID is the all-important value which is being sent back in the postback to signify that conversion. So for the most case, if the affiliate network is available as a template here, you can just use that template and then use the data parsing we have provided, use the conversion tracking templating we have provided, and just kind of copy paste things everywhere. But one thing you do need to consider is when you make your offers in FunnelFlux, you should avoid conflicting URL parameters. So see here in Zadu, for example, how I have var and YMID templated at the offer source level. If I go back to the offers and I create an offer here, let's call this Zadu test offer, and I pick Zadu as the source and I put my base URL, whatever it may be. Let's say I copy it from the network and it's actually like this, and YMID equals this, or maybe they put something like click ID here, like it will be some example URL from the network. Like let's say from that affiliate network, this is the URL that they give you, where they tell you to use some placeholders or put some information here. The problem here is if I go to data parsing, the offer source already has templating for var and YMID, and if I look in the URL here, I can see var is featured twice and YMID is featured twice. We want to avoid that. If I go here and try to save, it's actually going to flash this data parsing tab, and if I click save again and I hover these, it says there's a conflict with the base URL. Please remove one of the conflicting parameters. So what I need to do is go back here and delete this var and YMID and simplify that URL so that we do not have these conflicts happening. Technically, the URLs would work if we let this happen, but we stop you from saving in this situation to avoid broken data parsing where the tracking might not work because of the way it's adding two parameters. Okay, so hopefully that makes things clear in terms of how the data parsing works and how the offer source and offer interacts. Now what I wanted to quickly do is show you how you would figure this out for an offer source or a network that you are not familiar with, that's not in our templates. So I'm going to go to offer sources and I'm going to create a new custom source. Let's call this max bounty, even though it is in our templates. I'm going to go to configure data parsing. Let's try and figure this out. So I'm going to go to max bounty, and from here I just want to find some offer that I have available so I can get its sort of link generator. So almost all affiliate networks are going to have somewhere that you get the link where you can also see the additional parameters that can be used. So I'm going to go to this Bed Bath & Beyond one. I'll delete this for now. Here you can see this build tracking link part, right? So this is the first part where we're going to figure out what are the URL parameters, sometimes called sub-IDs, that this network's links actually use. So I'm going to click build tracking link. I'll just pick whatever these are. Okay, here you can see the initial link. Okay, this has got some random ID in it, O for offer maybe, C for creative, A for affiliate, and some other nonsense. But these are all static parameters, and this is part of kind of the base link that they have provided. So that is going to be the base offer URL that I want to use when I'm creating an offer. But we also want to know, how do we pass additional data? Here we have these optional sub-IDs. What I'm going to do is just put test in all of these. And if I scroll back up, I can see it has expanded this URL, and it's now got S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5 in it. So from that, I now know that the URL parameters they use for data parsing or custom data are S1 through to S5. So coming back to FunnelFlux, I want to put S1, and I don't need to use all of them, but it's kind of up to you. I would always pass something like the funnel ID, the traffic source ID. You could pass the campaign ID, I suppose. You don't need to pass these things for tracking to work, but the idea is that if you care about lead quality and sort of optimizing your campaign with the network, you want to pass some useful identifying information. The network can't tell much about your campaign and your activities from these internal FunnelFlux IDs, but it would allow them to actually get feedback from the offer owner to tell you, hey, like this S3 parameter, like you have 20 of them, these ones are working well, these ones are not. That would allow you to potentially optimize your campaigns without getting kicked off the offer. Okay, and so for S4, I want to use our hit ID here. Great, S1 through S4, that's what I'm going to use for passing custom data. The next thing I want to do is figure out the conversion tracking. So for this, we are passing our hit ID under S4. So what I need to do is figure out what the max bounty token is for passing that stored S4 value back. So if I come to max bounty, usually you'll find this somewhere under postbacks, whether it's on the offer level or sort of at the account level. Here we have server to server URL, that's fine. Here's what we need, see available macros. So if I click this, it loads, and I scroll down. Here you can see, can you pass me data in the callback? Yes. Here we have tokens for S1, S2, S3, S4. So obviously it's going to be S4, and the macro or token is hash or sharp capital S4. So I'm going to put that here. For offer payout, we have this rate. And for transaction ID, there's offer ID or ID of the campaign. That doesn't really sound like a transaction ID, so I'm just going to leave it. And then this is the URL that I would use as the postback URL in Max Bounty. So coming here, I would now use that in Max Bounty. So that's it. I've now figured out the way of passing data to this network and the way of passing the conversion data back to FunnelFlux. So you should always keep an eye on this when you actually run a live campaign. Check that you see data appearing in your affiliate network, and when conversions happen, check that you see them coming through to FunnelFlux. If you don't, then you might have a problem somewhere and you need to debug it. Now, let's try it for another affiliate network just to cap things off. Let's try it with Zadu since I have it open. So I'm going to create a new source. Let's assume Zadu is not available as a template. Create custom source, call this Zadu. Configure data passing. So we need to first figure out how do we pass custom data to this network or platform. So I'm going to go to offers. Let's go to this finance survey offer since it's at the top. Okay, and scroll down to wherever I get links. Here we go. This is how I get a link. Okay, so this is my affiliate link, I suppose. Traffic source display. Okay, copy this link, and you can see in this link that we are using var and ymid for passing data, right, which we saw before. So what I want to do is add those to my data passing. So here, var and ymid. Okay, var, let's pass, say, campaign, and ymid, let's pass the hit ID here. Okay, great. So they're very basic. They only have 2 parameters here. Most affiliate networks have, 5, and they might even have a dedicated parameter like click ID for, the postback tracking side of things. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of the data passing, but I need to deal with the postback as well, right? If it's available, it's usually easier to set this at a parent level, at the account level. So I'm going to click postback here. Okay, it's got create postback. Let's use FS postback. For the URL, okay, we need to figure out how do we pass back that value of ymid along with things like conversion revenue. So if I click instruction, it takes me to a help document. Okay, choose one of the offers, use the offer URL. Let's get to postback. Here we go. Example postback URL. They are using ymid in curly brackets for passing that back, and amount in curly brackets for passing back revenue amount. Okay, so what I want to do is come here, go to conversion tracking, and this is their token for passing back ymid, and then their token for revenue is this amount here. Okay, great. Let's use that for payout. For transaction ID, I'm not sure if they have anything useful here. Not that I can see. They have goal, but I don't think this is exactly it. This, if you have a double conversion flow, for example, this, you could use goal to track conversions. Okay, so goal is for tracking separate events or conversions on an offer, so that actually does make sense to use here to separate these transactions. If you send multiple conversions for the same hit ID, they will actually overwrite each other. So if you have multiple different conversions for an offer, you want a transaction ID parameter to be sent to make this work properly, or to make them not overwrite each other. So I'm going to click copy, come back here to Zadu, and you can see here they have integration instructions, but FunnelFlux Pro doesn't seem to be here. But it's okay, because we can figure it out ourselves. So that is what I would use as the postback, then click save. Quite often these systems might have a test conversion system as well. Honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about these. It can be a bit convoluted and confusing, especially for people who aren't that technically strong with this tracking to actually figure out these tests. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, to be honest. But you can see here we have offer level postbacks and global postback here, which is set. If I go back to this offer that I was using, this finance survey, and scroll down, for postbacks, I think it will just use the global postback in general, but maybe I need to select it here and save. I'm not 100% sure since I haven't used Zedu before for campaigns, but maybe you have to actually select it here and save it, but it's just globally available so you can always select it easily. Okay, so that's pretty much it for setting up the data passing with Zedu. Hopefully this helps you understand how to set it up with any offer source in any network that's not in our templates. But in general, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to our support. Then when it comes to actually using offers within FunnelFlux with that offer source, again, just create an offer, but be wary of the base URL conflicting with the offer source. So here is a good example where if I take this Zedu test offer that I get here, and I take this link, which you can see here, you can see that they provide some placeholders where they say pass a source ID and a click ID here. This is a little bit confusing because it makes you think they're saying to use those tokens, but what they're actually saying is replace these with whatever is appropriate to pass a source related piece of data and the click ID that you need to use. And if I try to click save here, you can see it flags and says, no, these are conflicting because var and ymid are in the link. So I need to get rid of these, get rid of that and then I can save and it will work fine. Then when I actually redirect to people to this page in FunnelFlux, it's going to go to the full affiliate link with the correct data passing. Okay, hopefully that's been helpful for those of you who find this quite technically challenging, and I'll see you in the next video.